So you want to go to Europe on a budget. You want a backpack. I'm going to show you how in just a couple steps. This is part one. This is kind of the more basic planning. See, I have my pool here in the backyard. We're chilling here. But anyways, yes, this is going to talk about the basic first couple steps, the overarching view of the trip. Okay, and then in future videos, I'll go over the more detailed planning sections. Okay, so step number one, you want to figure out your budget, how much you're willing to spend on the trip. Some people can do a backpacking trip for $1,500, and some do it for more, probably like $5,000. It just depends on how much you're willing to spend, how much you can spend, and what activities you want to do, right? There's a lot of free activities you can do, and there's a lot of ways to make this as cheap as possible, okay? But you kind of need to realistically say, all right, I can spend X number of dollars on the trip. So for me and my gang, we are gonna do anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000, which is a pretty big budget. I'm gonna say that's a pretty big budget for Europe. So we're gonna be able to eat nice, do fun attractions in every city, and we're gonna spend quite a bit. So 4,000 is, I'd say, on the high end, especially because we're only staying for a month, and that leads into part two, or step two, is decide how long you want to stay. And so we're staying for a month, and we're gonna spend about $4,000. That's our idea, and that's pretty important because then that can determine what to plan next. All right, and yeah, that's literally it. That's it for step one, for the big overarching step one, right? Find out your budget, find out how long you want to be there, plan out what countries you want to go to and what cities you want to go to, and kind of the basic route, okay? And that's, again, it may seem really simple, and it is really simple, but you can't skip this step. You need to do this to get an overarching idea of how much it's going to cost you, how long it's going to take, and the basic route.
Okay, so the first thing we did was decide which countries we wanted to go to and which countries we did not want to go to, okay? So this is what we decided. So we wanted to keep things centralized. So we kind of picked this strip right here, okay? We didn't want to go too far over and cut back in and whatever. So our plan is to go to Ireland, down to the UK, to the Netherlands, to France, to Switzerland, to Italy, to Greece, okay? And after deciding what countries to go to, then we decided more what cities to go to. Pretty much we're going to be going from Dublin to London, London to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Paris. Paris we're taking down to a little town actually called Interlaken. Interlaken, Switzerland. It's beautiful. From Interlaken we'll go down to Venice, and from Venice over to Florence, Florence to Rome, and Rome to Naples. And then actually from Naples we want to get to Athens. And because the boat ride actually takes like 14 hours, we found a plane ticket for $50. That's like 1 hour, right from Naples to Athens. Okay, and then at the end of our trip, we'll just fly from Athens straight home. So that's our plan. And again, it may seem kind of simple, but once you start planning your trip, you'll realize, wow, there are a lot of options for countries. First off, there's probably at least 30, probably more countries. And then even within like Italy, look at all these cities. Bologna, Bologna. And look at all these little cities, Lucca. Like I'm sure they all have their own little treasures. And so you got to kind of find just what cities you want to go to. And that's kind of where the your own due diligence comes in. You got to just kind of research a little bit, watch videos, like this one. Like you're gonna see me. I'm gonna be documenting this trip. We'll go all the way through all these cities, and you'll be able to see like, oh, that's kind of a cool city. I want to go there, or oh, maybe I don't want to go there. You know. So these are just things that you need to keep in mind and decide. But that's kind of like a big step in the process. Big step number two. Okay, so for this next part, this is kind of just a fun add-on. I do programming, so I programmed a backpacking Europe. It gives you a rough estimate of how much your trip will cost based on how long you want to stay and how long you want to stay in each city. So there was a backpacker back in 2018 who somehow got this data. It seems really accurate though, and it has a bunch of different data points in it. But essentially, what it does is it's going to give you the cost of a day in that city you want to stay in. So, for example, certain cities like Rome are more expensive to stay in than a random city out in Serbia or the Czech Republic, right? So, if you want to go to the super touristy cities, that's fine, but they're just going to cost you a little more. Anyways, this program is going to calculate in everything from food to hostels to taxis and Ubers to souvenirs to little treats every day. It has a really good estimation. So it has a really good estimation. So yeah, that's just a fun little thing. It's on GitHub, so it's free. You might need to know a little bit about Python and Visual Studio Code, but they're not too bad. But yeah, that's a little fun thing. If you guys want to support GitHub, go check that out.
Anyways, stay tuned for part 2, where as I'm planning my backpacking trip, I will kind of go over, yeah, all the activities I'm planning for each city. You can even just copy my itinerary. It's kind of going to be the perfect itinerary. We're going to plan all the nitty gritty. So stay tuned, and we'll see you later.